Want to welcome you guys back to another episode of Pistons Talk Podcast presented by FanDuel. Want to give you guys a little update. If I do sound a little bit congested and nasally, I am going through kind of just like a sinus infection right now. And if I sound like I'm kind of out of breath, I was diagnosed with thoracic mitosis, which basically is just the middle part of your back. It's inflamed right now. So I have a little bit of difficult time like talking for long periods of time. So I might have to take a couple of breaks throughout this podcast. Hopefully, it is listenable for you guys. But I've just had, I would probably say, like just a terrible like month between my mom getting sick and now me getting sick, and then having like back issues. It's been a roller coaster. 2026 has just kind of punched me in the gut, but we're gonna try to power through this post game podcast. Pistons saw the Nets tonight in Brooklyn. Last time we saw the Nets, they came back and beat us by 23. But that wasn't the case tonight. We're going to go over these quarter notes, look at the box score, and then just kind of wrap this podcast up. Don't want to keep you guys too long. So, to start the first quarter, the Pistons started out the first 3 minutes of this game. Great ball movement in the half court, had running opportunities. Um, and they just came out way more aggressive. That was probably the best I've seen them in quite some time. During the 4-game losing streak, I felt like it was just really low energy. They weren't really focused. The attention to detail wasn't there. But tonight against Brooklyn, whatever was said, whether it was a players only meeting, I don't know if they had one of those, or the film session tonight or earlier today, um, they came out focused and you love to see it. Jalen Duran was so aggressive in this one. Within the first 6 minutes, the guy had 11 points. He was perfect from the field. Brooklyn had to take a timeout at the 5:11 mark after a basket from Cade, and they were up 25-13 with 5 minutes to go. There was just a lot of cutting in body movement. That's something that JB talks about quite a bit. That he likes to see from his team is, if Cade has the ball, he still wants other players that don't have the ball to move. And you saw a lot of that from Ron. You saw a lot of that from different players, whether it was Sasser bringing the ball up the court, Cade is moving off ball. And it was just a beautiful sight to see in the first quarter. Jalen Duren did pick up his second foul at the 4:32 mark, but the Pistons had a pretty decent lead. Bench unit with Stu, Ron, Kevin Herter, Danish Jenkins, and Tobias kept the pace for the Pistons on both ends of the floor. Um, and they end the first quarter dropping 38 points on the Brooklyn Nets. They haven't really won too many first quarters as of late, so it was good to see them come out aggressive. Ron did have a couple of jump shots that didn't go in, but I see people talk about this all the time on the timeline, and I might have more of like a positive outlook on it. And you guys are right to your opinions. I know some of you don't like the amount of times he does try to attempt perimeter jump shots. And I completely understand it. But like my thought process with Ron and his development as a shooter is I would rather him take the jump shots now. So whether it's next season or a couple years down the line, he's not hesitant to shoot. He did make one 3-pointer tonight, and he was really active. We're going to kind of get into the second quarter and kind of just like the antics with the Brooklyn Nets players, that kind of what happened with him. But I'm encouraged to see Ron shooting. I know he's not shooting a great percentage from three, but I think it's just a process and having that confidence. And his confidence hasn't really wavered in his first 2 years in the league. I know he hasn't been a great jump shooter, but I like the form. I think Fred Vincent can work with him. I think there's a couple of things that he can clean up, but just a little rant by me with Ron Holland's jumper. So, getting into the second quarter, Nolan Traore, I think I said his last name right, right, shoved Ron Holland. And when I was watching the game, Ron was all over Nolan tonight. And I think it was just a frustration foul by him because he was just up in his grill, guarding him, giving him no space to breathe whatsoever. And he shoved him. And the officiating crew looks at it and he gets a flagrant one. And I think my favorite part of that whole scuffle were two players in particular. Javante Green stepped in. being the vet that he is, trying to calm the situation. And then there's an image of Stu that is kind of surfaced. I don't know if you guys have seen it on Twitter. I posted it on my Instagram because I just thought it was funny. Stu's kind of like this with his hands, like calm down, like we don't want another fight or altercation. Maturity by Stu. Love to see it, but there was that little kind of scuffle there with Ron and Nolan Traore. And then, like, 2 plays later, Noah Clowney's bringing the ball up the court, and Ron decides he wants to guard him. And he kinda, like, stiffs arms him. The camera angle looked like he got throat chopped, but there was different camera angles when they were reviewing it. So, there was double technicals. Noah Clowney got a technical for unsportsmanlike, conduct. Don't know what he said. You could hear bits and pieces of it on the broadcast, but couldn't, like, fully transcribe what he said. Said something, uh, profanity-wise to, the lead official, Ray Acosta. And then Ron got a technical for flopping. I do feel like he sold it a little bit, but those kind of offset because they were double technicals. But Ron was just getting attacked very early on in the second quarter. Cade Cunningham continued to dominate in the second quarter. You kind of look at the box score earlier for Cade, like he was perfect throughout this game. He only missed 2 shots all night. Duncan Robinson picked up his 4th foul. Most of his fouls were just trying to guard Michael Porter Jr. And that's such a tough ask for Duncan Robinson because we know he's not the best defender on this team. And Michael Porter Jr. is such a difficult cover. This some of the jump shots, the difficulty of shots that he's able to make. You just kind of say to yourself, like, wow, man, like, I can't believe he made that. But he picked up his 4th foul. Didn't really see Duncan until later in the third quarter. And something JB did tonight, which I think he might lean into more, especially with Asar Thompson, because we don't really have an update on when Asar is going to be back. Um, he decided not to do like all bench lineups. So he had at least a starter or two that he would leave with the bench unit. So in one instance, it was like Tobias, Stu, Ron, and Danis out there. In other instances, it was like Tobias and I believe Duran was out there with the second unit. So JB's kind of like experimenting with his rotations, and I can kind of understand it given you don't have Asar and Karis LeVert right now. So I did like that strategy by him. Brooklyn had to take a timeout because the Pistons were just completely just dominating them. They had to take a timeout after a transition three by Marcus Sasser. It was 64-36. And the Pistons go into halftime with a 73-40 lead. And Cade was perfect up to that point. Took a three and kind of ruined his percentage. I know a lot of people are like, we want Cade to have a perfect game. Obviously, he didn't have a perfect game, but he did finish with double-double. Looked really good out there. Coming out of halftime, getting into the third quarter, Pistons had a lot of running opportunities in the open court and the driving lanes and transition threes. And I've always said, and this even dating back to last year, like I think where the Pistons are great is when they have lanes to run and when they can push the pace and transition because I still feel this way. Like the athletes that this team has, and they're young guys. Like our core guys are young. Um, I think our oldest core guy maybe be 25, and I think that's Sasser. I think Sasser's 25. I could be wrong there. Kind of rambling a bit, but like I feel like when this team has the opportunity to run and create transition buckets, they're at their best. Pistons hit a lot of 3 pointers in the third. This was a game where Duncan was hitting threes. Cade's three ball has been great for the past 2 games. It was really good in Miami, even though they got blown out. It was great tonight. So that's a positive note. If you're a Piston fan, Cade's three ball is coming to life just at the right time as we get closer to the playoffs. So you love to see that. Brooklyn had to take a timeout when the Pistons had a 102-65 lead. And then the second unit just finished the game for the third quarter. JB wanted to keep his guys fresh because they do play in a couple days against the Philadelphia 76ers. But after three, Pistons had a 105-73 lead. Going into the fourth, it was just the second unit whole game. Even saw some garbage time from Chaz Lanier, and Paul Reed got some clock as well, so you love to see that. But it was just a great bounce back game after losing 4 straight. Final score in this one is 138 to 130. Um, and I think a lot of fans during the losing streak last week kind of panic mode a little bit. And it's kind of funny if you think about it, right? Like before the 4-game losing streak, and you can look back at the schedule, the Pistons only lost 2 times in a row, like, throughout the year. Like, the 4-game losing streak was their first skid, and we're in March. I think it kinda just shows the consistency and the growth of this team. The fact that we were crashing out on a 4-game losing streak, this kinda shows the expectation right now, with the fan base. I think the expectation has just kinda gone through the roof. I see it all the time, when I'm scrolling the timeline, like, this team doesn't make the Eastern Conference Finals. It's a season of failure. Pistons probably aren't making the NBA Finals, and I'm like, "Man, like, the expectations have just gone so high," and I think expectations are good. I'll just tell you my expectation, and then I'll let you guys have your own because I think what's so unique about basketball and just sports in general is we can have our own opinions and we can have our own expectations. My expectations, and this was before the season, it's documented. I remember doing a podcast with Koo from Locked On Pistons. I said, I don't care if they finish as the 8 seed or the first seed. I just need a playoff series win. I need to see them make it to the second round. To me, I think that would be a successful season. Now, that was like in August. That was in August. I still wanna see that. I still wanna see that. Um, I think you guys are in your right to wanna see this team make it to the Eastern Conference Finals because the way the East kinda shakes out, like, we've, played the Knicks a couple times this year. We've beaten them in every single game. We've beaten the Cavs twice. They've beaten us twice. Uh, we've beaten Boston, I believe, 3 out of 4 times, if I remember correctly. Um, we've kind of beaten the better teams, in the Eastern Conference, and I think playoffs are gonna be very interesting, especially rotations. To kinda wanna just ramble on it with, like, just expectations in general because I've just seen a lot of people. Especially, like, just, like, the casual Piston fan, not even, like, the, like, everyday Piston fan, because I assume that if you guys are subscribed to this channel, you're just a diehard Piston fan, but, like, I see, like, the Detroit sports fans that maybe are more Lion-centric or Tiger-centric, kinda be upset if the Pistons don't make the finals, and I'm like, "Wow," like, just Detroit sports fans in general have, kind of just raised the floor, for the Pistons. Be really cool if the Pistons and the Red Wings made the playoffs, um, this year. Hopefully, the Red Wings don't have that March curse like they always do. They lost to Florida the night that I saw. But let's get into the box score, and I'm gonna wrap up this podcast and get some rest because my throat's killing me, and I think I'm overdoing it and pushing myself, but let's get into the box score. So if we look at the box score, Tobias Harris in 22 minutes only scored 2 points. He was 1 out of 5 from the field, 0 for 3 from 3, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 turnover, plus 23. I didn't even notice that Tobias played so poorly. Like, I didn't even, like, kinda realize it because Cade and Dern were just going absolutely crazy. Duncan Robinson had a perfect night from the field after he's kinda struggled, um, shooting the ball. So he had 15 points in 16 minutes, very efficient. 6 out of 6 from the field, 3 out of 3 from 3, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, plus 13 in the plus minus. Jalen Duren, 23 minutes, 26 points, 9 out of 10 from the field, 8 out of 10 from the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, plus 23. That's just efficient, man. 26 points in 23 minutes and 90% from the field and 80% from the free throw line. Like, good lord, man. He had a much better bounce back game against the Brooklyn Nets. Was the first time they played them. Day'Ron Sharp, who didn't play tonight, and Nick Claxton really did a good job of guarding him. I'm glad Durant came back out and an aggressive game. Marcus Sasser, he's been getting a lot of starts lately. 21 minutes, 14 points, 5 out of 7 from the field, 4 out of 5 from 3, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, plus 31 in the plus minus. Gotta love it. Cade Cunningham, 26 minutes, 21 points, 8 out of 10 from the field, you guys. 4 to 5 from 3. 1 for 3 from the free throw line. 3 rebounds, 15 assists, and only 2 turnovers. Love it. You can keep those turnovers between 2 to 3 a night. You'll live with it. He had 1 steal. He was a plus 37. He led his whole team in plus minus. Bench unit. Let's get to those guys. Start with Paul Reed. 8 minutes, 8 points. I swear, Paul Reed's a point a minute, man. He was 2 out of 2 from the field, 4 to 6 from the free throw line, 4 rebounds. And he finished the game with a plus 0. Wasn't a negative or a positive. So love to see it by Paul Reed. Isaiah Stewart, 22 minutes, 4 points, 2 out of 7 from the field, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 block shot, plus 14. Ron Holland in 30 minutes had 16 points, 5 out of 13 from the field, 1 out of 6 from 3, 5 out of 6 from the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, plus 13. Obviously, we'd like to see his field goal percentage go up a little bit. And I mentioned earlier, I had a little rant. I don't mind the 3-point attempts because I know it's just good reps. And like if he develops into like a league average or an above average 3-point shooter, we can kind of just look back on his first couple of years and say, like, I'm glad he took those shots. Obviously, he doesn't do anything uh, with this percentage. I think the last time I looked, and this was a couple of games ago, I'll have to see what he's up to now. I think he had like over 150 3-point attempts on the season. I'm gonna look tomorrow to see what he's up to on Basketball Reference because I know he's taking a lot. Javante Green in 23 minutes had 8 points. He was 2 out of 5 from the field, 1 for 2 from 3, 3 out of 4 from the free throw line, 4 rebounds and 3 steals. He was a plus 19. Kevin Herter in 22 minutes had 7 points, 3 out of 8 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, plus 19. Something I want to talk about with Kevin Herter. Obviously, the 7 points, you'll take it. But I think what I was more impressed with him wasn't his scoring. It was his playmaking. Like he makes some really high level reads. Had one to Duran. Uh, he's just a very kind of under the radar playmaker. Like he can put the ball on the floor and try to dish it out to his teammates. But been really impressed what I've seen out of Kevin Herter and him getting more of an opportunity. Probably helps that Karis LeVert and Asar Thompson are out, but I wonder what happens with his minutes when those guys come back. Hopefully, he's still in the rotation. I don't know how JB's going to juggle all that, but we'll see. Chaz Lanier in 6 minutes had 3 points, and his 3 points obviously came from 3. Love to see it by Chaz. Also had 1 assist. He was a -3 in the plus minus. And Danish Jenkins in 22 minutes had 14 points. He was 4 out of 10 from the field, 1 for 2 from 3, perfect from the free throw line, made all 5 of them. He had 3 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 turnovers, and 5 steals in this one. It was a +1 in the plus minus. So overall, this team just had a excellent victory. Obviously, when you win by 38, everyone's plus minus are going to go through the roof because it's just the margin of victory, right? As we kind of look, excuse me, at the team stats, Pistons shot 56% from the field to Brooklyn's 42. They shot 50% from 3, you guys. They made 16 out of 32 threes to Brooklyn's 34, where they attempted 38 threes and only made 13. Pistons got to the free throw line 34 times. So did the Nets. They shot 76%, though. Brooklyn shot 85. Rebounds, Pistons out rebounded them by 9. They 40 to 31. They had 10 offensive rebounds, 30 defensive rebounds. Pistons were really sharing the sugar. They had 36 assists to Brooklyn's 23. Had 12 steals in this one. The Brooklyn's 3, 3 block shots. Brooklyn had 3 as well. Pistons only had 9 turnovers. You love to see it, taking care of the basketball. Brooklyn had 19, and the Pistons were able to really capitalize on those turnovers, points in the paint. They outscored them by 40, 64 to 24. Pistons had 24 fouls to Brooklyn's 29. And Brooklyn never had a lead in this one. Pistons had a lead as big as 43 at one point, but it's just a really good bounce back win from them. I'm really happy that they were able to get a victory. So as we kind of look at the FanDuel odds to end this podcast. So going into the game last night, the Pistons were favored by 14.5. you guys took that, you're probably happy tonight 'cause, uh, you won, right? 14.5 is a really big spread. Their next game is going to be against the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, this will not be a FanDuel, Sports Network game. This will actually be an Amazon Prime game. Not sure if Tyrese Maxey is gonna play. I saw a tweet from Shams Charania that he had injured a finger, and they were gonna reevaluate him in 2 days. So they still have Joel Embiid, obviously. Be interested to see how Jalen Duren, does with Joel Embiid, especially with Isaiah Stewart as well. But I think that's an opportunity to get a win. It's gonna be a nationally televised game against the 76ers. I think it's a very winnable game. Remember last time we played the 76ers, Danish Jenkins was just in his bag, going up against Tyrese Maxey. Hopefully, he can kind of rekindle some of that energy and that fire and that spark that he had against the 76ers. But hope you guys enjoyed tonight's post game podcast. Apologize that I'm so sick and just sore. But we'll see you guys on Thursday. We're going to be doing something pretty special on Thursday. So, I told you guys last week we're going to do something. It keeps getting pushed back, and I'm very excited to share with you guys a company that we could be potentially partnering up with. But we'll be doing that on Thursday's podcast. But Thursday, it's not Thursday. I'm so sorry, you guys. Whenever they play the 76ers, which is the 12th. Oh, it would be Thursday. What am I? It's been a long week. It's been a long week, but hope you guys are staying safe. Take care, and as always, go Pistons. Peace.